0% down, $4,600 a month, about 7.25 interest rate, 30-year mortgage.
You can't go wrong with the 0 down. And it's still below market rates.
This episode is all about how you can buy a house without banks. So you can get it seller finance. You can actually be the bank and do a wrap mortgage. And I'm going to break down with Alex Kamenetsky and Virgilio Mateo, and they're going to break down exactly how you can do it too. Coming up next. Welcome to the One Man Production.
Thanks for joining me, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Sweet. Well, Alex, Virg, thanks for jumping on the podcast with me today. So you guys, I think either you're doing a really good job with podcast outreach, but I feel very honored to now have you guys after you guys were on Pace's podcast. So who's doing all the outreach? Is it both of you?
Yeah, I mean, it was literally just like a luck of the draw. Like, honestly, it was like right place, right time. We were at a convention in Phoenix.
Okay.
And then we were actually meeting with our friend Mitch. He was going to interview just Mitch. And then when we got there, he was like, hey, Mitch, do you want a 2-man podcast or a 4-man podcast? And Mitch was just like, let's just get the whole team on there. And we're like, it's been a team effort. So we were just setting everything up and yeah.
Yeah, and then we were on it. And we have a lot of big things cooking up. Pretty exciting.
I know. I feel like last year, 2 years ago was short-term rentals. Last year with midterm rentals. This year, the hype, the buzz is creative financing. So Alex, I'm going to throw it to you. What the heck is creative financing and why is it the buzzword in real estate this year?
So creative financing is really interesting because you can buy houses without a bank, right? And you can also become the bank. So I'll get into that later. But there's a couple different ways that you can buy houses with creative finance. So our favorite is SubTo, where we take over the existing mortgage subject to the existing loan, right? So now we become the new owners of the house. And now we're responsible for that house and we get a house at a really low interest rate. And then there's also seller financing, where seller financing is where the seller or the landlord becomes the bank and then we make monthly payments to them.
Gotcha. And this, I want to pull this up because you guys, was the deal on Oahu in Mililani, was that a subject to deal or seller finance deal? Was that your deal?
Yeah, it was a subject to deal.
So break it down. I even screenshotted you guys' Instagram post today. Let me see if I can find, here, I'm going to read it actually. So seller financing deal. So you're buying a house on Oahu on the west side for $583,000. $0 out of pocket is what you posted here. Interest rate is 7.25, which I think you can kind of get today, right? Depending on your FICO score. 30-year term and a monthly payment of $46.77 for a 2-bed, 2-bath with 2 parking spaces on Oahu. But you don't need a bank. So tell me about this deal.
Yeah. So we actually just called. Nick actually helped us out in getting in contact with the agent. But let's say they were asking about like $450 around there, and then they owed around like $400. So after all the closing costs, after paying all the agents, they were going to pay out of pocket. So we came in there, pitched subject to, and that real estate agent actually despised subject to.
Okay.
And actually, we collabed with Nick, and Nick was able to just pierce and break that agent down and was able to close the deal.
So break this down, and I want to really dumb it down and try and make it as simple as possible, and then after that, as tactical as possible.
Yeah.
So first off, from a buyer perspective, why is buying a house subject to so awesome? And Alex, I'll throw that one to you.
So a reason why a seller would want to do subject to, right, is because let's just say they've been trying to sell their house for 30, 60, 90 days or even longer, and they bought the house only a couple years ago, so they have very low equity. So when they have very low equity, typically they have to come out of pocket at closing. And a lot of these sellers, they can't come out of pocket. They don't have 20, 30, 40K. So that's where subject to is really vital, where we can just take over their mortgage and relieve them from that problem.
So if you're trying to buy a house without using a bank, subject to, I think, is the Googleable term that you should do. Now, Virg, I'm gonna throw it to you. If I'm the seller, why would I sell a house subject to?
There's like several reasons why. So you might be moving out of that location, or you're behind in payments. Let's say you're in the military and you get PCS and relocated out, and there really isn't that much time, and you already got into specifically a VA loan. You go into there 0% down already. So you don't want to pay 2 mortgages, and that's another thing as well. You already bought a house in that new state or new place that you got, and we're there. It's subject to helps relieve that debt from you.
Okay. And how many deals, you guys have I feel like every single time, at least I've seen Alex at a meetup, the amount of deals you guys have done on a monthly basis has just continued to go up. So how many deals are you guys at now?
Average, we're doing about 7 to 10 a month as a team.
Gotcha. And how do you guys make money on that?
So there's a couple different ways we make money, right? So when we buy a house subject to, we can either have it as a long-term rental or a midterm rental. I actually have my brother, he manages some of those. If we ever have any vacant houses, he can sometimes get an insurance claim in there and get us 3 or 4 times the amount of, long-term rental. And we also do wraps as well. We can get into that, but there's a couple different ways we make money with it.
So give me an example of like a spread that you guys made on a deal.
So we'll talk about a wrap, for example. One wrap that we did, we bought that house at 3% interest, and then we charged the next person 6.75% interest, right? So our monthly spread is about $1,200 a month. And we got an upfront down payment, and then we collect monthly cash flow as well.
So you guys are making a little over $1,000 a month from basically being, would you say like the second bank or the bank? Like what is the easy way to classify that as?
The easiest way to call it would be, so we bought the house and then we still have to pay the underlying mortgage, but we do a wraparound mortgage to someone else that can't qualify the traditional way. So we're helping someone get into a house that doesn't qualify the regular way, and then we're making a little bit of money on the side as well.
So if I'm understanding it correctly, there's an existing mortgage in place and we're not relinquishing that. We're not paying that off. We're keeping that still in play. And then now you're taking another mortgage, another note on top of that wraps around it.
Exactly. Yeah. You got it.
And from there, you're charging a little bit more money. So that way the original lender still makes its money. You now, as the new lender, would make some money on top of that. How is that legal? I'm sure is the question that you get.
It's 100% legal. It's actually been around for a very long time. And it's, if you do it properly and correctly, it's 100% legal. We do use a servicing company to make sure everything gets paid. So how it works is, so we have to pay the underlying mortgage, the subject to loan, and then we use a servicing company to pay the other loan for us. So we never actually touch the money, right? Everything goes through a servicing company.
Yeah, and when it closes a regular escrow company, it's not called like a wraparound mortgage. It's called an all-inclusive trust deed. And that's been going on since forever.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what type of servicing company so say you're like, okay, I want to learn about creative financing. I want to learn about seller financing, SubTo, wrap mortgages. Who do you have to go to make all this happen? Like you can say all these pretty things and watch enough podcasts where you can BS your way through a sales call. But when they're like, all right, let's do it. What the heck do you do next? Virg, I'm going to throw it to you.
On how to find these like loan servicing companies. I mean, there's plenty of resources out there. By going to meetups, you can meet people that are already doing it, watching on YouTube, watching on Google. And like the biggest thing is just taking action and find those people that's already doing it. That's really the only way, because if you go in just head first, like you might crash.
What other pitfalls do you see, Alex?
The other pitfalls that I see is, you have to find the right resources, right? If you're just scrambling, trying to do it on your own, it's probably not going to work. You do need a solid team. You need people that have resources that can help you.
Okay, so let's clarify this for the audience a little bit more, because that's one thing that I see even on Pace Morby's podcast a lot, is that he's constantly breaking down all of the different rebuttals that happen with whoever he's either teaching or with the public, because it's not conventional, it's not normal, it's not taught. And so someone needs a baseline of finance. And then after that, a little bit of convincing to even say like, is this real? Is this too good to be true? Because with SubTo, at least from my understanding, you can take the mortgage. And if you're going to buy my house SubTo, a lot of times it sounds like that people are willing to offer slightly more money if they don't need to put in a new mortgage in place and take it over. Is that true, Alex?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it makes a lot more sense for people to go through us, for example, right, versus a traditional loan where it's probably going to be 8.5%, 9% soon. So we never charge market rates. We are always under market rates. The biggest rebuttal is this legal? Absolutely it is. They can have an attorney look through all the paperwork if they're concerned. We make sure to go through Scott Horn for all of our paperwork, and he does our title and escrow for owner financing.
And who's Scott Horn?
He's been in the game for a long time, and he's done thousands of these notes, so we trust him, and we like to use him for all that kind of stuff.
Okay, Virg, can you give me an example of a SubTo, another example aside from this Mililani deal?
Yeah, actually, let's think.
How about Stockton?
Oh yeah, Stockton. Yeah, Stockton's a great one. So how I found Stockton was actually just from Zillow. I typed in the keyword search, assumable, and one of the Stockton deals came up because we were coming from Stockton. We were visiting another property.
I remember this conversation. Actually, we were on the way back from looking at a duplex, and Virg was on the computer as I'm driving, right, looking up deals. Like, wow, look at this deal. Okay, cool, call him. And we got on the phone, and the guy knew about SubTo. He's been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah.
And then we pretty much got the deal.
So you Googled or used Zillow to Sumable.
Yeah. So
but how did that phone call go? Give me the phone call.
So phone call went. I basically just went down the 4 pillars: condition of the property, what's the motivation of the selling, timeline, and then talked about price at the end. So a lot of it, when I do talk to agents, like there's really no script. It's just more of those 4 pillars. Just as long as you stay within those, like you'll be all right. But for that particular property, the owner was actually at the hospital like the last days of his life, and they needed to sell quickly. So I was working a lot with them, but they owed around, let's say like 300, they owed around 300K. They were only asking about like 315. Then after all expenses, they were going to pay out of pocket. So I pitched subject to that. Interest rate was actually crazy. It was actually an 8% interest rate. And yeah, the owner was okay with it. I mean, we were dealing with his power of attorney because the owner was actually on the bed already.
Wait, so can I pause you there?
Yeah.
So their listed purchase price is how much again?
Listed was like 315.
315. And what was the size of the house?
It was like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
So like around 1,800 square feet.
Okay, 3,218, and then with an 8% interest rate.
Yeah.
And so now, what are you pitching them?
I'm pitching them that, have they ever thought about keeping the current financing in place while we service the debt on their behalf? So basically, can we just pay the mortgage payments on your owner's behalf?
I think, can you give the cell phone example, how it would work if I were to take over your cell phone? That'd be the easiest way to explain subject to.
Yeah, let's say if you're buying an iPhone, it's $1,500. And then let's say it's $14 a month on top of just to finance that. And let's say you can't afford that $14 anymore. You find someone like us to take over the payments and make the payments on your behalf. And the people making the payments are the new owner, essentially.
And then with that Stockton deal, is that now in play of a contract? You're looking to assign that, or what's the next step in that deal?
Yeah, looking to assign it. We actually are assigning it. We should be closing before the end of the year. There's just the owner has passed already, and we're dealing with the power of attorney, and we're just waiting for us to get the green light so we can close. And actually found that person to assign it to at a meetup.
Okay. And then what is your guys' assignment fee on that deal?
We're making about, I'll say just $5,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on the lower end, but this is just a deal where we wanted to help the sellers because the agent explained the whole situation. And this has been actually the longest deal in contract ever. We've never had to do a deal where it took this long, but it's okay. Doesn't matter. We're just patient about it.
Yeah.
Well, how long have you guys been working this deal?
Yeah, probably like 6 months.
It's been a long time.
A long time. Yeah. Because we were going to close the first time, then the owner on the bed stopped it at closing. So
yeah, literally at closing.
At closing. And then from there, when we were traveling like in Colorado, we just came back from Colorado, I got a call from the real estate agent. Hey, the owner is basically has passed and we want to reincarnate the deal. We're like, okay, yeah, let's do this. Now we just need to go through, we just got to wait for the green light from the attorney, and then you guys can go ahead and close it. We're like, I just want to make sure, like, can we still have the original terms and whatever it may be? And then they're like, yeah. So we got the verbal contracts are out. We're just waiting for the attorney to give us the green light.
And is the agent still making their commission?
Yes. That's on top of paying the commission. Yeah.
And typically a SubTo deal doesn't take this long. This is a very few and far exception.
Yeah. But what's great about in between there, that agent, he's actually a broker. Whenever we have deals here in California, we can put him as a reference. And we haven't even closed a deal with him yet. And just by the phone call that I was having with him, he was open to us using him as a reference.
So now with the amount of deals you've done, and Alex, I'm going to throw this one to you. How many leads or how many people are you working directly with the seller themselves, or is it through now, say, an agent or a broker?
I personally don't really do much direct to seller. I do pretty much all direct to agent. So to me, it's all about relationships. If you can build all these relationships, you're just going to get endless deals. So how I look at it is if you do 1 or 2 good deals with an agent and they see that you can close fast and all these things, they're going to keep bringing you business.
So what's been your favorite SubTo deal?
My favorite SubTo deal is so the story on this one, we got it about 6 months ago. We typically would never do this, but we did a lease back to the tenants for about 6 months. So they were deploying out. They were going to another country. This is my favorite deal because it's a 2.5% interest rate, our lowest one we have. So the story with that, it was a pocket listing from one of our agents. They said, hey, we want to put this house on the market, but we're underwater. So they weren't going to put it on the market. We just took it over, gave them $10,000, paid the agent. It was a lot, actually. We gave the agents $20,000 total. No, $25,000 total on that one, and then $10,000 to the sellers. They were able to walk away from the situation. We got that house, and now we're in the process of wrapping it.
Okay. How much are you making on that one?
We're just going to depend on the down payment that we're going to receive, but we do upcharge it about 100 to 150K, so we'll build a lot of equity into it as soon as we wrap it.
What do you mean that you are upcharging it? So the from what you locked it down to what you are selling it for?
Yeah, I believe it was about $420 the purchase price, and we're going to resell it for about $570, $580.
And then when are you able to refinance and or cash or sell out and be able to collect that equity gained during that transaction
You can
process?
do it at any time as soon as the note is created. So you can pretty much do whatever with it. You can even do something called the hypothecation, where you take loans against your notes. I mean, there's so many different things you can do when it comes to wrapping. It's unbelievable. And then you can like sell the note. You can even trade it for another one. I mean, there's really cool stuff. Like, it's really cool.
Okay. Now, that's probably, I feel like seller financing is level 1. What level would you say that wrapping and all of the hypothecation, I don't even know what that is.
Hypothecation.
See,
Yeah.
like that's like level 7. And I'm sure there's crazier stuff beyond that. What level is
Yeah.
wrap?
I would say like 6 or 7.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say around 6.
Because then it goes into like, you can do 80-10-10s. You can like structure your notes however you want. You can do partials. So it's like, there's endless things you can do when it comes to wrapping. It's not just one thing, right? It's like so many different things.
Then you're like dabbling into like SEC territory, which, you know what I mean? We don't want to
go
That's
there.
like level 10.
Yeah.
And we're not there yet. Yeah.
Okay, I want to know, because it sounds really good, right? You can get this house on Oahu for 0% or for $0 down, not even use a bank. Is this reported? If I'm the end buyer as a seller financing, does this get reported to the credit bureaus?
It doesn't. No.
Because you essentially, the deed doesn't really get transferred to you unless it's fully paid off or you sell it, or not when it's fully paid off. So what we do, it's the same concept as like cars. So when you get a car, they're not going to transfer you the title until it's fully paid off. But you're essentially the owner.
So you're like in this purgatory state for a very long time.
Yes.
Okay.
If you want to look at it that way, yeah. But it's more of like you get the first right of refusal, like you, let's say I don't want to say the sense of ownership, but
Well, you are the owner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when
I
you
have
go,
no control of what you do with the property. Yeah.
like when you go buy a car, if you go finance a car, you're the owner, but
Mhm.
you don't get the deed, or I mean the title, until you actually pay it off, right? So you're still the owner in the meantime, but you're not fully the owner.
I understand.
Mhm.
Okay. So now it sounds really nice, right? I'm buying this house on Oahu for $0 down. I don't need a bank. Doesn't hit my credit now that I've cleared that one up. How many calls, though, are you guys actually making on a daily basis? Virgin, I'll throw it to you.
For acquisitions, I would say each of us, we would call about, at least like 60 to 100.
So $100 a day.
Yeah.
All right. And then, Alex, those $100, what is then the percentage who are like, all right, I'll hear your spiel about seller financing or creative financing?
I would say maybe like 5%.
That's actually better than I expected. I was in my head, like 2%.
Yeah, probably about 5%, I would say. At least they're open to it. And then when it comes time, a lot of agents just ghost you, which is normal. I'm used to it, right? They'll say, oh, this sounds lovely. And then when it actually comes time for a contract, they're nowhere to be seen, right? That happens a lot. So, and you keep following up with these agents. There's actually one house where I've been following with them for 6 months. It fell off the market. And then it's another agent that got on it. And then that agent ghosted me too.
Okay. So there's a lot of follow-up, a lot of education that has to happen to close a sale, I would imagine. Now, when you're running through like your follow-up or your lead system, like what systems are you guys using? How can you make this happen?
Yeah, we have a CRM that will automatically follow up with leads as well. That helps us track everything. We're able to see which leads need to be called.
Which software do you guys use?
We use Creative REI Reply.
Does that like Pace Morby's proprietary software?
No, I don't know.
No, it's a Go High Level. Have you heard of Go?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So-
it's like a branch of
Like a
Go
white-
High, like a white label
Yeah.
of Go High Level.
Mm.
So a lot of CRMs are based off of Go High Level, and you can customize it the way that you want it.
I'm like trying to build. I guess really good Go High Level. I'm trying to like build mine now. You are?
Yeah.
Virg is the systems guy.
I'm the integrator, system and processes.
Oh, we got to
Guy in
talk
the
later,
group,
man. Because I'm trying to build mine out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's just like, it's complicated.
It's very complicated.
Yeah, like I can send ads and run it all day. And then I'm like trying to build the funnels. Like, why is it not working? I bought the text message thing. Why can't I get the number approved? All right, I'm gonna hit you up after. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not that easy. Tell me about the craziest. I want the craziest seller call from each of you. Like the most ridiculous, off the wall. I mean, I used to do door-to-door sales for radio advertising. And I'm talking about driving down the auto mall with a radio script in hand saying, hey, you ready for your 4th of July sale? I got one for you, Stevens Creek Toyota. And then going past the assistant straight to the GM's office and like playing the spot for them and saying, you ready to buy a 2-week program?
We can tell them about our test.
Well, I was gonna
Yes.
say we can talk about. Remember when we were in the brokerage in?
I want that story and I want that
okay,
story.
okay,
Virg,
go
go.
ahead.
Give me the
Okay,
test story.
Yeah. So the test story. So we were trying to figure out like what agents are like more like receptive to. So Alex was going to come in as a regular investor, and me come in as an agent because I'm a real estate agent. So when he called this agent, this agent was just not happy to speak with him. It's like, so what are you trying to do something to? Are you going to lowball me? Just being just straight mean to Alex. And then just hung up. It was like literally a 5-minute call.
Not even. I think it was like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It was a very short call. Just a
yeah.
couple minutes, and she was not hearing it.
Right when she answered, like she didn't want to talk to you already.
Exactly.
That's what it sounded like. And then I came in and I introduced myself. Yeah, I'm a real estate agent here in California and so. And we became the best of friends. And the best of friends, like 15, 20-minute call. I mean, we didn't like end up like getting the deal because we were just testing it out just for fun and seeing it. And that was the crazy part to us. We were just like, okay, well, it was like our version of A and B testing and seeing what works and like what not works, what won't work.
Okay, so then you guys are going basic good cop, bad cop, essentially.
Yeah.
Right? The man on the street in the trenches versus, hey, we're going the traditional-ish route with the agent play.
Mhm.
Okay.
And it's a huge difference versus me. I'm not an agent. Virg is an agent. I mean, the conversations are completely different. You can't even compare. I mean, it was like, she's like, oh, you're not an agent? Automatically doesn't want to talk to me. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
All right, what's your story, Alex?
Well, this was all when we were in Colorado Springs together. So we went to a couple different brokerages and we were just doing our presentation, talking to agents. Then afterwards, we explained the wraps. And one of the agents was like, hey, I have someone actually in the building that can't qualify the traditional way. So we bring her in the room, getting all the details. And this lady was a little crazy. So she wasn't in the best state of mind. We were trying to hear her out, and it was just like all these crazy stories she had. And we were like, what the heck is going on? And there wasn't a way that we could help her, but I would say that's probably one of the craziest.
Yeah.
It was a little wild in there.
Yeah, it was pretty cool in the part where the agents and the brokerage was like, oh, hey, I do have a client. And that lady was literally sitting in the next room.
And then she grabbed, that was the coolest
That was
part
the cool
about
part.
it. Like,
yeah.
And she was like, we love what you're doing with the wraps. You guys can help her. She brought her in. We tried to help. It just, in that situation, it wasn't going to work. But it was the fact that it was proof of concept that it works. And they literally went in the next room and grabbed somebody. So that's just proof that a lot of agents and loan officers, they have so many people that can't qualify the regular way.
Mhm.
And we can help so many people to get into a home that can't the normal way.
Yeah, and that's the reason why we went to Colorado Springs in the first place. Is just to educate these people or these brokers and agents.
Okay, so now run me through, if someone wants to just try to pitch creative financing, what are aside from, I like how you said it earlier, you had your 4 pillars, right? What was it again? That was your...
It was a condition of the property, motivation to sell, timeline to sell, and price.
Very easy to remember. So now when you go in seller financing or creative financing, do you have a quick framework? What are the questions you have to make sure that you ask them, or how do you even introduce the subject?
So I like to just get the information out of them, right? I want them to tell me that, let's just break it down for subject to deal, right? Where the sellers have to come out of pocket. They are about to go into foreclosure or a situation where they're kind of screwed. I want the agent to tell me what's going on versus me try to ask them, hey, can I just do subject to? If they give me all those facts, I can explain to them, why don't we just keep the existing financing in place? Or can we do something a little bit more creative versus the traditional way? And then sometimes the agents are more receptive, but we've actually had one agent tell us that they would rather have their clients go to foreclosure than do a subject to. And we were just mind blown, like, how could that be? So a lot of agents just really don't care about their clients, which is pretty unfortunate. I think subject to is a really great way to help sellers.
Okay, so then a couple questions off of this then. One, on a subject to deal, how does the agent get paid? Or how does the agent make money?
So they make money because it would be a traditional sale. So we usually pay 1 to 3% depending on the deal. So if they help us buy it, they would represent us on the buy side.
And then that would be just taken off of the top. So the seller gets whatever they want. And because in your instance, there's like, are you guys covering closing costs most of the time too?
Mhm.
We cover closing costs and the transaction coordinator fee as well.
Okay, so that means you guys are paying the commissions, closing costs, all the stuff to just make it happen.
Mhm.
Okay.
All they have to do is say yes.
Yep, they have to say yes, and we make the process super easy and hassle-free for everyone.
What happens if your end buyer doesn't pay the mortgage that they've now assigned to?
So that's a great question. So we have something called a performance deed. So it's on both ends. So the performance deed is on our end and to the new sellers. So if we default, the original sellers will get the deed back in the house. And then if the new sellers default, it would be the same thing.
And then how long before that happens? Because I'm sure you don't want that to happen after the first month. Is it like after 90 days? Or is it?
We typically do 30 or 60 days.
Okay.
So if they default, let's just say after month 2, then we have the right to take back the house. We definitely don't want to do that. But worst case scenario, we can, we talk to them. We just say, hey, what's going on? What's happening? Why can't you make the payment? We really want to work with them and see maybe if they just need an extra month, we're flexible, right? The last thing we want to do is put someone in a home and then kick them out. I mean, that's not our intentions at all.
Yeah, we're not in the business of kicking people out.
Yeah, we're in the business of getting people into homes.
Because then I'm sure at that point, if it does, if you're 60 days late on a mortgage payment, it goes against the original seller's credit, not the new end buyer, because that's not getting reported.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're still responsible for that underlying mortgage, even if the new seller or if the new buyer doesn't pay. So no matter what, we have to make that payment.
All right. So now the interesting question, are you guys also vetting the buyers, Virg?
Yeah. We are in the buyers. We go through the RMLO process, and RMLO process essentially is the application, basically loan application, essentially. And we basically take a look at their current credit status, financial position, anything having to do with them financially. And if it all checks out, of course, we like to talk to the buyer as well, then we can approve them.
Dang. Okay. Well, it looks like you guys are rocking and rolling. So what is the next evolution of the business? Alex, I'm gonna throw that to you.
The next evolution, I would say, is just collect as many notes as possible. And if you want to sell some of the notes, sell some of the notes, or, get loans against the notes, trade the notes. That's a whole business in itself, is buying and selling notes. And
Basically
also,
level 7.
I would say we're at level 1 where we're creating the notes. And then level 7 or 8 is selling them, trading them, and doing all these crazy things.
I'll say trading the notes at level 9, 10, but selling it, I think, is straightforward.
It's level 2.
Yeah.
Level 1 is creating the notes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are kind of level up on the note game, it sounds like. What do you guys need to scale?
Essentially, it's just more volume. We're at this point in the market where interest rates are a little high. So I know there's going to be a plethora of deals, and there's not enough buyers because they're not educated. And the more we get our name, our face out there, or whatever it may be, talking about this, and that's our big next step. And we went to Colorado last time. I mean, we're thinking of what's the next state that we're trying to go.
Yeah, we went from Colorado to Arizona. Now we're thinking about doing Texas or Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question I have for you, I want to dig into for the rookies here. If someone's thinking about, hey, I want to wholesale, hey, I want to learn creative financing, I want to yada, yada, yada. I want your guys' one piece of advice for the rookies for each of you. Alex, I'm going to throw it to you first.
I would say stick to one thing. So pick one thing that really interests you and just don't deviate from it and just keep going. That was my fault, or my thing was I had shiny object syndrome. I'm sure you remember in the beginning. I was all over the place, couldn't figure out exactly what I wanted to do. And once you figure out that one thing, just go all in on it.
Virg?
Yeah. Then once you figure out that one thing, surround yourself around people who are doing that one thing and are really good at it. And if you surround yourself with winners, like you're going to be a winner yourself.
Okay. I love the foo-foo guru mindset stuff. I want something tactical now. Come on, give me something juicy. Alex, go. Tactical, man. Come on.
I would say just really be educating yourself on the right things.
But what thing? Give me one thing to look. If I'm going to binge something on YouTube, what is it?
Pace Morby.
Pace Morby. All
if
right.
you want to get into creative finance, I would strongly recommend to go and look at Pace Morby. I really don't know anyone else that can teach it as well as him. I've learned a lot from him, and yeah, it's really tough to just do this on your own. I mean, you can't just go look into a textbook and just start learning and think you're going to be a master. You have to actually take action. How we do it is if we learn something, we take action right away and implement it.
Man, I don't think there's a textbook on this.
Well,
You guys can write one. Virg.
Okay, nitty gritty. Let me see. I would think is just stop over analyzing it and just do it. Just do it. that's really all. Quit complaining. Quit comparing yourself to people and just do it and just balls to the wall.
And just to touch on that, I feel like everyone waits for the perfect scenario. They're like, well, if this happens, then I can do it. So I agree with you. Just take action. And even if it's imperfect action, you want to take action.
That's a step forward.
From my systems guy, Virg, what do you need right now in your team? What's the weakness? What's the one thing you wish that you could like snap and that problem was solved for the business?
I want to automate it even more. Use a lot of like Zapier or any like automation tool that I can use, because we use for our task manager, we use Asana to get everything organized. But I'd want to even automate it even more, where we're just stepping back and letting the systems just flow.
Give me an example of an automation that you have in the business right now.
When a lead, let's say when we have an offer, when we have an agent that's open to a subject to offer, that goes into Asana. Once it gets accepted, they check the list. That automatic goes down to the next section of like contracts. And then once we finish that checklist, it automatically goes down to escrow. Once we're in escrow, it goes to like EMD and receiving the EMD. From there, we do a pre-audit of closing docs and then closing.
And all of those checkpoints are automated. So you just like set it into the funnel and it goes through.
Yeah, I mean there's still some manual stuff that we need to do.
Like
just
someone
so
has to approve it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we still need to do quality control at the end of the day.
How are you using ChatGPT?
Oh, ChatGPT. I actually just found that I can use it like on Reels,
Okay.
that I can create, like, let's say what is subject to, and then put like one column of the fact and then the other column of the hashtag, and then incorporate that into Canva to create like a whole number of
To automate the
Reels.
Canva
Yeah,
creation process.
exactly.
But you, Alex, are you using ChatGPT for anything?
Just for my emails, I'd use ChatGPT to clean up my emails. My grammar's not the best, so it works well.
Dude, my spelling sucks. That's why I do video. Like my wife and actually Ash too is always on me for my spelling, and
That's why ChatGPT exists. I
Oh,
mean, it's
I
really
know.
useful. It's really useful.
it is. Okay, switching gears now. You guys are growing this creative finance business. What is the business called?
So we each have our individual LLCs, but we have a combined, it's the PMP team.
It's private money partners, and then we're using that as like a platform for like our deals. If we have any deals or have any like education about creative financing, we use that as a platform. And all of us in that group or in that club, essentially mastermind, I have to call it, we all collaborate.
Actually, fun plug. If someone's made it this far in the podcast now, you guys are awesome. You might as well give this a like and subscribe and all that good stuff. But what deals are you looking to assign right now? Like, I know it's November, something, but like, give me one of each of you. Like, what are your two favorite deals that you're looking to assign, Alex?
Well, the deals that we have ready, we have one in Kyle, Texas. This one is a lower interest rate, 3.75, I believe. That one ready to go. We're just taking a small assignment. Yeah, it's a full subject to deal. It's not a wrap. So you would essentially just take over that existing subject to loan at 3.75%.
What's the purchase price?
Purchase price, I believe, is $475,
$475. Okay.
$475,
And
yeah.
then what's the size of the house?
about 2,000 square feet.
Okay. And then what's the mortgage payment?
Have to double check.
I know you don't have your spreadsheet in front of you.
Yeah.
Do you send out, when you do assignments, like how thorough is the back end after that of like, here's long-term rents, here's MTR, here's STR, here's the cash on cash on the back end of that?
Yeah, we have pretty much all that information. We typically don't put in short-term rentals, but sometimes we do. But the rest of it we have in there just so the investor can see if there is a good cash on cash return and they can kind of decide if they want to go with the deal.
You need to add me to your buyers list.
Absolutely.
All right, Virgil, what about you? What's a fun deal that you have on the docket right now?
Hawaii. We want to offload a Hawaii as soon as possible. It is 0% down. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, let us know.
Recap that deal.
Yeah.
Just real fast.
0% down, $4,600 a month, about 7.25 interest rate, 30-year mortgage.
You can't go wrong with the 0 down.
I mean,
And it's still below market rates.
Yeah.
No bank is ever going to give you a 0 down loan.
They did it back in 2008, but I feel like they did it incorrectly.
Well,
They just approved everyone.
or you just, the military VA loan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's switch gears now. I like to talk about marketing and marketing things that are either working for you or things that you guys are working on.
Mm-hmm.
I want from each of you, well, actually, the first question is, do you separate your business and your personal profiles? Alex, I'm going to throw that to you first.
Mine is combined. Recently, I've been posting a lot more about real estate, but I do post some personal stuff on there as well.
Why?
I just feel like it's easier just to have one and people can actually see who I am, right? They can see that I like to go do fun things and not just purely about real estate.
It's a real person.
Exactly. I'm just not an AI video, like we did.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, that's a
fun.
whole other story.
Yeah.
We'll show you after this.
Okay.
I combine it just because I watched a lot of how Ryan Serhant, because I'm a real estate agent, so I was really big on Ryan Serhant.
Love Ryan Serhant.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then he was just saying you can be real estate, but you should be real estate and something. And in your Instagram. So on my Instagram, you see me playing a lot of sports. You see me rock climbing. And then me talking about real estate, 3 things, you know what I mean? That whole thing. But yeah, I feel like you don't have to separate. You shouldn't separate it. I don't think so. Just so they know all of you. And you don't have to put every personal single thing in there. I'm about to use the bathroom now, guys. I'll be back in a bit.
It's like Twitter 10 years ago. Okay. The next question I have for you is, what is your best performing post that ever went viral? And what's the best post that has now generated the most business for you? Because contrary to what people believe, the posts that go viral versus generate business, from my experience, are very different. I don't know if you guys feel the same. We just have an answer to that?
I would say the post actually with you that we did about wraps a long time ago, that one got a lot of views and a lot of people were messaging me about it after.
We went both. Did you get any business from that?
I think I did get a couple leads from it, but I don't know if,
They ended up closing or anything,
but it's great that we just did one video and people reached out and people wanted help with their deals, and you really never know what can come from it.
I don't know about you, Virg.
There was this one video that had nothing to do with real estate. It was about what social media influencers do when they wake up, and it was just a sound bit that I used, and then that ended up catching fire. I was like, oh shoot, what the heck is going on right now? It had nothing to do with everything else was real estate. I was like, hopefully this traffics or brings people into the page just so they can see the real estate stuff, and then I get leads from there, but there wasn't leads from that video at all. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the infotainment, this is just purely entertainment at this point, right?
Yeah.
You're just following a trend. And honestly, there's part of it is yes, going viral is cool, but there's, at least for me, there's doing the social media as a creative outlet too. And sometimes I'm forget well, this is still my profile and I can still be creative with it. And it doesn't have to be, here's a tactical tip for you to go ahead and get from this to this. And that gets lost a lot. I don't know. Okay, one more social media question. Who is the last person you remember following on social media and why?
Probably a agent. I don't know exactly who. I've tried to follow as many agents as I can, and they see, I'm serious.
Yeah,
they see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I've actually had people join our Zooms from that, just DMing agents on social media. Because what we're starting to do now is we're going to start doing Zooms for agents and loan officers. And that's how we can get them in, is through Instagram and just following up.
Dude, I like it. The headline for those Zooms better be how to get 20 to 50K over asking for every single house.
Well,
that's the title.
I like it.
Repeat.
That's the hook.
100%.
Yeah, we've done a couple so far, and actually they were pretty successful. So starting next week, just because of holidays, we're going to do it Monday through Friday.
Do that. That's it. Boom. Virgil, about you, who's the last person you remember following on Instagram or any social media?
Who was it? Alex from Mosey.
What? It took you this long to follow Alex?
Yeah,
from Mosey?
I didn't know who it was. Yeah.
Hiding under a rock? But you don't have a time limit on
Dude,
Instagram.
a lot of people talk about it, and I was like, I wonder who this guy is. Like,
Dang.
and I know it took a little bit while, because Nick talks about it a lot. I was like, okay, who's this? I'm curious. Like, who is this guy? Like,
He's like the highest trending entrepreneur this year.
Yeah, like what? But I would just flip through it. I'm like, okay, so this is a guy with a hat and a beard and a tank top. He works out. That's probably about fitness. So I don't.
Hat, a little beard, works out. Gosh, wow.
Yeah, it honestly, it did take a while. I was like, I've probably just scrolled it. I was like, cool, and then boom, scrolled away. Took a while. Yeah, took a while. I admit that.
Okay, a couple personal questions. I call this on my last call, my last call to round it up. The first one is, what has been the number one, or what are 2 purchases that you've ever made in your life? The first purchase is the one that you regret the most ever making. Could be the stupidest purchase you ever thought of. And after that, what is the best purchase you've ever made? First one that comes to mind. You got something?
I would say the worst purchase, probably one of the first cars I've had, was a 2012 Volkswagen GTI right after high school. Pretty stupid purchase.
Wait, you bought that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a dumb purchase.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Why was it so dumb?
Well, because I ended up crashing.
Oh, even dumber.
Oh my.
Yeah, I got in a car accident from it. But I'd say the best purchase would be like any investments that I make in myself, going to these events like WealthCon, CreativeCon. I would say you can't even really put a price on it, because the amount of relationships that you get from it is unbeatable.
Our favorite conference you went to in the last 12 months?
CreativeCon.
That was crazy.
That was next level.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, the relationship that we got from it was just like priceless.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to meet some really special people.
Yeah, like the creative, financing, gurus were there.
Carl Allen was sitting next to us the whole time. We had no idea who he was until he gets to the stage, and we're like, okay, that's who Carl Allen is. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. We were sitting next to all these people that were speakers. I mean, it was great.
Yeah, we sat all the way in the back too, and we're like, man, we're not gonna get any of the action. But come to find out, all the speakers were in the back hanging out and
chilling.
Yeah, and then we're just like, okay, yeah, just saying. He was talking to Carl, and there was another guy who was big in crypto. I didn't know he was a speaker. Okay, we were just talking, just networking, and this guy just started talking to me. And then he goes, all right, I'll be back. He just stood up, went to go speak, because I'm next.
Oh, and then the other speaker, there was another speaker sitting directly next to us, the crypto guy.
Yeah, that was a crypto guy, yeah.
Man, she's telling everyone to sit in the back right now. That's what you guys are telling me.
Yeah. And it was the cheapest ticket too. I mean, everyone else paid what, 10,000?
I mean, it was still pretty expensive.
Yeah,
but
it was expensive.
Either way, it was worth it. Definitely worth it. I mean, stuff like that to us is 100% worth it. You really never know who you're going to meet at events.
Yeah.
Actually, my first real estate meetup ever was your event. And that's why I got into real estate.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Well, look at you guys now. Doing a whole bunch of deals, getting viral on Instagram. Virg, what about you? Best and worst purchase?
Our worst purchase was the DJ Ergo. It's like a Pioneer little DJ controller. I wanted to be a DJ at one point. I ended up breaking it probably a month later because I spilled hella drinks on it. And so, yeah. I mean, that's my worst purchase ever.
That doesn't seem too bad.
Yeah.
That's you trying to find a new creative outlet and then you end up just being stupid.
But I gave up after that.
How long did it take you to give up or break it and then give up?
I mean, it took I broke it within the month. So
did you get to learn anything though?
I mean, I learned how to mix a little bit. You know what I mean?
There you go.
I still kind of know how
Did you buy it on a credit card by any chance?
No, I bought a seller finance.
It was actually a monthly stipend that I got back in college.
Oh, you financed it from the store?
No, it was because I was getting free school.
That's a dumb purchase.
I was getting free schooling at Cal State East Bay, and I would get about a little less than $1,000 a month just because it was for the GI Bill because my dad was part of that, and I would just spend all that. I mean, every purchase in college was dumb. I would just say.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, best purchase now.
I mean, best purchase was the mentorship program, the Pace Morbies, the SubTo program. Right. Getting to network and meet a lot of amazing people. I mean, that was the best purchase. That was priceless. And going to CreativeCon, that was another one.
Well, the last question on the last call is, what is the most memorable drink you've ever had? Who was it with, and what made it so memorable? And it could be coffee, a beer, a drink. Seems like I'm not going to answer for you guys. So
let me think about this one.
I mean, most memorable drink so far. I guess going on this podcast with Josh. I don't know. Let me think. Best drink,
Most memorable.
most memorable.
A meal that you shared, with someone, or even just to sit down with. Alex, you got one. Something came to mind. Don't filter it out. Give
I
it
think
to me.
probably with my uncle, the last time I saw him, that was probably my most memorable because I don't really see him often. So that
Okay.
kind of stuck with me.
What'd you guys eat?
A lot of Russian food.
Okay. And what'd you guys talk about?
Just talked about life and just like catching up. I haven't seen him in super long. So that was a couple months ago.
Very cool. Virg?
I say a drink. I had a drink at the airport with some random dude, and we just started talking about. This is the first thing that came to mind, but I started talking about real estate. And you don't meet a lot of people, and then talk about like something like creative. I mean, like there was no deal that came out of it. It was the conversation in general that you don't meet everyday people, except for the people that's like around us that talk about creative financing or just real estate in general. That was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys jumping on the day before Thanksgiving to jump on the podcast with me. Before we jump off, where can people find you?
Probably Instagram is the best way at Alex Kamenetsky.
And I'll leave the link below because no one is ever going to spell that.
Yeah, you can contact me at Editable with Virgilio.
I'll also probably link that down below too, because good luck to like that way too, guys. Well, I appreciate it, gentlemen. And if you enjoyed any of this episode, make sure you give it a like and subscribe. And I will see you all on the next one. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Josh.
Peace.